Hello, my name is Shonda, and welcome to my channel Under the Needle. Um, I'm here for a quick unboxing. We are unboxing the Sew Sampler monthly subscription box by Fat Quarter Shop. It is $24.95 a month, and shipping is $4.95, plus any applicable sales tax that might apply to you in your area. I have actually done this unboxing already earlier today, and everything seemed fine on my side, but when I uploaded it, there was no sound. So unfortunately, the box doesn't look nice and neat anymore, so I'm not gonna like open it up and show you because it doesn't look the way it used to look. Um, it Also, since I already know everything that's in here, you're not getting my genuine reaction. I generally do not try to preview to find out what's in the box, so that when I'm opening it, it's the first time that I'm seeing everything. So it's generally what I try to do, but that's not going to happen today. So here we go. So when you first open the box, it normally looks nice and neat. Let's see if I can put it back for you. Hey, April 2021. Sew Sampler. Okay. So here, what they're doing is they're telling us about a new sew along. So every box has a block for a block of the month. They do 12 months, 12-month block of the month. The last one, I don't really remember what it was because when it started, um, I was not getting the subscription. So I started getting the subscription when they were like midway through. So I didn't have all the blocks. So I didn't collect them or pay attention to them. Okay. So this month is a new block of the month. It's Bright Side, designed by Sherry McConnell of Sherry and Chelsea. Um, what I had said in my last video is that I like to watch their podcast. So Sherry is the mom and Chelsea's the daughter, and they quilt together and they design fabric together and they write books together, and they have a podcast. And in their podcast, they talk in like really mild voices. They both have very mild voices, and so it reminds me of if you ever watched Saturday Night Live back in the day, there was a skit with these two ladies and they were doing like um, an imitation of like NPR type talk radio. And they're like, yeah, well, yeah, well, I'm not funny at all. So I cannot do what they were doing. And I probably haven't seen it in 20 years. But their podcast reminds me of that skit. Of course, it doesn't have that SNL satire or anything like that. But just the way that their voices are always it always reminds me of that skit. So I like listening to their podcast because it's just so soothing. So like when I'm sewing, like I'll just pop that on and listen to that while I'm sewing because it's just so unobtrusive. You just kind of listen and everything is just kind of nice and even. And so I really like it for that reason. So I probably will not do this project, this quilt along. I probably won't do it just because I have too many works in progress already. So like if you see these bins here, most of these are works in progress, or they are projects that I have not started yet, but I want to do once I get some of these other things done. So I probably won't do this, but I will collect the cards because I love Sherry and Chelsea, and maybe I'll do it one day. So in today's box, we have some quilt labels. We got some of these before, but they were different. They were different. So you get a pack of 12. It says Keep It Quilty label set, and it's a 12 pack. And I like these because they have different designs. I know that because I've already opened them. So we've got this one that has a 9 patch. It says patchwork, and then it says width of fabric down the side. And then there's like a little iron on the back. Isn't that the cutest thing? And then there's one that has a pinwheel block, and it says 1/4-inch seam. And there is one that has a half square triangle. says Sew Blocks. It's got the thread spool on the back. Oh, I forgot to show you the back of the pinwheel. The back of the pinwheel has like a little featherweight. I think that's so cute. It's so cute. And then the fourth design is two little flying geese together. It says on stitch on point. And on the back we have like a little pin cushion. Awesome sauce. Let's get these put back in here. And it looks like from the makers of, well, Fat Quarter Shop made them. So yeah, these are designed by Fat Quarter Shop. And so we also have a nice little quilty bag, and it has a lot of the same stuff on it that the labels have. So we have that half square triangle, and then we have the iron, and then we've got the little sewing machine and the 9-patch. The little spool of thread is on the back of one of them. So nice little quilty bag. It's like a canvas or burlap type, and it's a really good size. Let's see how big this sucker is. This is 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So it's exactly the size of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So it's an 8.5 by 11 pouch. So it's pretty sweet. If you're doing socialites with Fat Quarter Shop and you're doing the 6-inch blocks or the 3-inch blocks, fit quite nicely in here. Okay. So we also have block 1 of the Bright Side Quilt Along. Our finished block looks like that. I'm definitely going to collect these. Definitely. And we have our 3-inch square and a square quilt block foundation paper. Makes 42 quilt blocks. And we've got, this just tells you everything that's in the box. This is our card that tells you everything in the box. I normally don't look at this until after I'm done. The only reason I look at it is to make sure nothing's missing in the box, because I don't want to look at it before, because it kind of gives everything away. So I usually look at it when I'm done, just to make sure that I got everything that was supposed to be in there. And of course I did. I've never been missing anything from the Sew Sampler box that I've received. I can't speak for everyone else, but not a single time have I ever been missing an item. We have a coupon book here, which is nice. We have 20% off It's Sew Emma PDF patterns, 30% off 3-inch square and a square foundation paper, and that's this. 15% off Aurifil thread, and buy 1 layer cake, get 1 40% off. And these coupons are good through June 30th, 2021. I do like that Fat Quarter Shop does give you time to use your coupons. Usually most companies at best give you 30 days, and I love the fact that I get a full 2 months. So I can really wait for something to come up that I need or that I want to buy, and then I can add something and use one of these coupons. So I don't feel rushed to have to use it. So I like that. Now we have a pattern and fabric. So for our fabric, we got 6 fat quarters. So we have this here. And these fat quarters are from the line Sunday Stroll by Bonnie and Camille. And here's our third one. This is my favorite one. I love this one. I love this. It's like a gray. It's not really translating really well to the, kind of looks better when I get it a little closer. But it's just like this really kind of interesting gray. It's not normal gray, if that makes any sense. It's a really interesting gray, and the way the flowers play off of it, it really works. That's definitely my favorite print. And then we have this one here. We've got the kind of check with, or boxes with flowers. And then we have this print here. I really like this one too. Yeah. These two are definitely my favorites. I love these two. These two I would actually purchase. Like if I had seen this fabric in a fabric shop, these are two fabrics that I genuinely would have purchased on my own. I do like those two. And we have them to go with this pattern. This is the Star Flower Quilt pattern. So they've given us the fat quarters and the foundation paper. So the 3-inch square foundation paper that they gave us is actually for the construction of the quilt here. So for the lap size quilt, you need 6 fat quarters, which we have. We need the foundation paper, which we have. And then we need 2 3 yards for background, 5/8 yards for the inner border, and 5/8 of a yard for binding. Alternatively, you can use the fabric to make 3 table runners. If you choose to make the 3 table runners, you will need 3 2/3 yards for the background, 1 1/4 yards for the inner border, and 1 1/4 yards for the binding. So the quilt finishes at 44 by 63.5, and the table runners finish at 23 by 63.5. I do like that they give you some options. Let's see what else we got in here. Because, you know, Fat Quarter Shop is famous for giving you lots of options. I like that about them. I'm just looking at the cutting instructions. I love how they do their cutting instructions. I love that they give you cutting diagrams. I really appreciate that about them. Like, because I don't want to give away the pattern, but I love how they give you cutting diagrams in their patterns. And that's not just in their Sew Sampler. All of the Fat Quarter Shop and It's Sew Emma patterns, they give you like a cutting diagram so you know how to most effectively use your fabric, you know? So you don't cut it improperly and end up not having enough. They always make sure you have enough fabric, and they always show you how to cut it. Actually, for that reason, when I do any of their patterns, I will generally, not just them, Moda as well. Moda will generally really a lot of times upsize, like, because they need to expect the fact that you might wash it, right? So they need to give you enough fabric so that if you wash it and it shrinks, you're still going to have enough. But I don't pre-wash, and I generally don't pre-shrink. So I don't usually need as much fabric. So anytime I do a pattern before unless it's like a pre-cut, unless it's like a pre-cut pattern, then I won't. Like if it's a layer cake pattern or a fat quarter pattern, I'm generally not going to do it. But anything else, I am going to look to see, I'm actually going to look at the cutting instructions and plot out exactly how much fabric I actually need. Because sometimes it's padded by like half a yard, just because they want to make sure not only if you wash it, but if you have a miscut that you have enough. And fabric can be pretty expensive. So, and then when I'm working from my stash, like if I'm using a half yard bundle and the pattern calls for 5/8 of a yard, I can usually get all of my cuts out of half a yard, and I don't need that extra eighth. But I digress. We're talking about the Sew Sampler box, and I'm just rambling. Anyway, so that's our box for the month. I'm pretty happy with it. We've got some pretty good coupons. I mean, buy one, get one 40% off for the layer cake is great. I'm a pre-cut kind of girl. I love my pre-cuts. I have tons of them. You can kind of see some of my layer cake collection over here. So I definitely could see myself using that particular one. Love the labels. I never think to buy labels, and so I like the ones that I get from Fat Quarter Shop in this box. I think I've been getting the box for, I don't know, maybe 8 months now, and this is the second time I've got labels, and I don't think that's bad, you know, because sometimes you might get a box and you keep getting the same things. Getting labels twice a year, I'm completely okay with that. I like the fabric selection this month. Again, Bonnie and Camille, Sunday Stroll, so happy with that. Love the fact that we get to try out the foundation paper. I used some foundation paper a little bit. I had a block of the month that had one block in it that required foundation paper piecing, and so I did it for that one block. And I also got some, Missouri Star sells these 10-inch 10-inch square papers, and I use them to make string blocks because you can, well, what I did was I took scraps from all of the projects that I've been working on. And when I finish a project, I take those scraps and I use the paper to put the strips on and sew the strips and kind of make you know, a string block. But more forgiving because it has the paper as the foundation. Not required, but just more forgiving with the paper. So, and then, once I cover the paper completely, then I just kind of square it up and then take the paper off, and then it goes in one of my bins until I can put something together one day. And definitely going to be using the bag. This is a nice size bag, 8.5 by 11. This is a pretty nice size. So you don't have to, a lot of times you get a bag and it's kind of small. And so you can only really use it for like small things like your pen or your seam ripper, or maybe, your rotary cutter and your seam ripper. But you can't really like use it for a lot of stuff because it's usually too small. So I like that it's a nice size bag. So again, happy with this month's box. I'm generally happy with their box. There's only one that I wasn't like over the moon about, and that was the one that had the My Favorite Color is Moda panel with all the dots on it. I wasn't 100% crazy about that box, but I did like the solids that came with it because I'm severely lacking in solids in my collection. It's not something I buy. I don't really buy solids. I don't really like solids. I prefer textured, either prints or textured fabric. So I don't really like solids. Like I wanted to put together My Favorite Color is Moda. So My Favorite Moda came out with a pattern called My Favorite Color is Moda. It's like a sew along. Hold on. It's a sampler quilt. And so I desperately wanted to make this, and I was going to get one of the kits, but I just couldn't get on board with the solids. So I actually just bought my own grunge. So I basically substituted the colors and bought my own grunge to make it. Unfortunately, I got the fabric from Hancock's of Paducah, and some of the grunges are sold out. So I'm still waiting for some of my grunges to come in stock so that I can do this one day. Anyway, so that's all I've got for today. Hopefully everybody can hear me this time, and I'll see you next video.